Hello everyone, Jobexi here. Happy New Year. This is my opportunity to make a video for you regarding a product, a piece of software that the developers contacted me about, asked me to check out. It's called Launchbox. If you're like me and you have a bajillion games from dozens of different emulators, whether it's the original Nintendo, Super Nintendo, Sega Genesis games, all that, all of the different systems, you have folders and folders and folders of games and configurations, and you have to use these emulators for these games because this emulator works better for those games, and when you're recording certain different emulators do a whole lot of different things. It's a lot of work to try to keep track of all of the different pieces of software that your games can be found in, and then if you forget where you put something, well, you're doomed, or you have to download it again. Of course, it's still there. All sorts of first world problems, to be perfectly honest. But this piece of software, Launchbox Premium, which I'll put up on the screen now, Launchbox allows all of this to be done very, very easily. So I've just spent some time digging through the software, looking through, making sure I understood how things worked, and I've set up a couple of folders for myself. Nintendo Game Boy, so these are the Game Boy games that I have. It automatically populates. What you do is you configure the folder that you want, the emulator that you want it associated with, and the game file type that you want it associated with, and you tell it where those are, and it goes boop, and it imports it into its own location. So all of my Game Boy games, they're right here. And when I download a new one, all I need to do is drag it and drop it in, and it's right there, sorted in the appropriate spot. Same for all of my original NES games, which I have a lot more of. They're all right here. Some of these don't have images associated with them, so I would like to mention that the Launchbox software automatically collects and downloads all of the images for the associated games. The ones that don't have images for them are either not games, like JNES was just a file that happened to end in that system. This is a Japanese game, Itadaki Street. Ghost and Goblins. That's not the name of the game. The name of the game is actually Ghosts and Goblins. So when the file name has a discrepancy between what it is and I don't know why this one didn't find, but most of the time, as you can see, there are a lot of pictures here. Most of the time, it finds the correct image for the game. So I've got NES and I've got my Super Nintendo Entertainment System games over here. You could also import your Steam games as well. Here it says Windows is the category, but here's also my Steam games and anything else that I would like to import that just doesn't. It doesn't have to be emulated. It works straight up. Many of these are games that I installed in Steam after I installed them. After I installed Launchbox. So, like, Beginner's Guide I installed yesterday for another time. I had a friend play it. What was another one? We passed it. There was another game in here that I installed yesterday, but certainly after I installed Launchbox. So, Game Dev Tycoon, that was installed after Launchbox. King of Dragon Pass was installed after Launchbox. So, it automatically gathers all of the games that you install as you install them, as long as it's looking at a certain location for those things. Excuse me. So this is the layout, and as I said, it automatically grabs all of the art, but art isn't all it gets. Let me go to Game Boy Advance. Is a bad category. Let me go to what was that? I guess that was an NES. NES. Let me pick Arkanoid, one of my all-time favorite games. I do have 2 copies. Okay, you'll notice what you're hearing is the music from Arkanoid, if you've played that game. It also so pause the music. It also includes on the right over here a quick listing who published it, what it's rated, if it is rated, like M or E or whatever. NES existed before the ESRB, so it doesn't have a rating. Whether it can be played single player or multiplayer, what the file name is. So you'll notice it's arkanoid1.nes, and this one's just arkanoid.nes. So they each have a different background. This doesn't have any background file associated with it, but this one does, so it changes the background appropriately, probably because this one's named the actual file. It says I never played it. Of course, that only counts times I've played it through this system. It also includes screenshots from the game, and all of this is downloaded automatically. I don't need to go get the music, I don't need to go get the images, the screenshots, the reviews. It's all downloaded automatically. Let me pick Mickey Mousecapade. There you go. You've got Help, Help, echoes a mysterious voice. Mickey Mouse, the famous world explorer, and so on the review goes. You can rate it here with your 5-star capability. And you've got fan art, which is associated with that, and the, as I said, screenshots from the game. It doesn't have access to anything that it doesn't, it can't find based on the name of the file. So, Monopoly. So any game that you have, I'm going to pause that music again. Any game that you have in your system already, it can import it. You set it to import, and when it's finished, you get all of these images, music, files, data, information. It's essentially a way to have a visual... it's almost like having a digital bookshelf visually for all of your games. It's a digital game collection, essentially. So you only have to look in one place. All of the image files show up in one place. And not only that, you could right-click and select play. Excuse me. And up comes the game. I'm not screen sharing that, but up comes the game. And you can do that, of course, with any of these. You could also, I believe, double-click. And up comes the game. Mario's Picross. And it's really that simple. If you just point it to look at, where you want those games to be, it'll automatically make sure those games end up in your collection. This is a wonderful tool. It's been helpful to me to keep everything organized in one consistent location. Before, I had to have essentially a different folder for each type of game, and this software Launchbox takes care of all of that for me, which makes my job easier. So when I have to sort through old games to decide what I'm going to record, it's already all taken care of. So thank you so very much for watching. I hope your 2017 is wonderful, and I'll see you in the comments.